Okay, we are going to start from page number 62 onwards. Horse and two goats. We have seen in the last class that how Muni and that red-faced man, that is American, they were having the conversation, and you saw that they were not understanding each other. Even the red-faced man was impressed by the language of Muni, that is Tamil, and he wanted that if he had a tape recorder, he would have recorded his voice. Because I told you the South Indian language, the twist of tongue is very beautiful. Like even in speaking Hindi, we don't do that much twisting of tongue. But speaking South Indian language, you have to do twist of tongues, and that gives a beauty to the language. And the American was really impressed, but his motto was only to purchase that statue. And finally, when Muni understood that he is pointing to the statue, he started explaining about it. And then the conversation started. Now page 62, he goes like that. I never went to a school. In those days only Brahmin went to schools. But we had to go out and work in the field morning till night, from sowing to harvest time. He said, I never went to school. That time only Brahmins used to go. We used to only work. And when Pongal came, Pongal, you know, it is the festival of Tamilians, of Tamil Nadu, very famous festival. Like in Kerala, Onam, same way in Tamil Nadu, Pongal came, and we had cut the harvest. My father allowed me to go out and play with others at the tank. And so I don't know the Farangi language you speak. Even little fellows in your country probably speak the Farangi language. But here only learned men and officers know. Farangi language is calling to foreign language. Like what he is speaking. He said, as I did not go to school, I have not done any studies. I used to only work in the field, and I never know any foreign language. So I don't know how to speak. The foreigner laughed heartedly, took out another cigarette and offered it to me. He was very happy, not understanding anything, but the language, the gestures, with what Muni was explaining, the foreigner was very happy to listen. He again took out a cigarette and he offered. Who now smoked with ease, deciding to stay on if the fellow was going to be so good as to keep up his cigarette supply. Muni was thinking, what a nice fellow. If he will supply me the cigarettes like this, I will keep on talking to him. I am getting 1 or 2 cigarettes day by day. The American now stood up on the pedestal in the attitude of a demonstrative lecturer and said, running his finger along some of the carved decorations round the horse's neck, speaking slowly and uttering his words syllable by syllable. Now what happened? The American was thinking that Muni is now like somewhat comfortable to give me this statue. So he stood on that pedestal where Muni was sitting. He stood there and he was touching the statue of the horse. And the carving, what was done, he was touching it. And he was speaking the word very slowly, syllable by syllable he was speaking. I could give a sales talk for this better than anyone else. This is a marvelous combination of yellow and indigo, though faded now. American said, I give you a proper amount for this statue. This is a beautiful statue painted with yellow and indigo. Indigo means that is purple like that blue. Okay, so it's but the shade is less, but I am going to give you good amount for this. How do you people of this country achieve this flaming colors? He said, how you get this kind of colors? It's very different, like unique color. Muni now assured that the subject was still the horse and not the dead body. Now Muni understood the American is not talking anything about the dead person, that murder. He is only talking about the statue. That much was clear. This is our guardian. It means death to our adversaries. At the end of Kali Yuga, this world and all others' world will be destroyed, and the Redeemer will come in the shape of a horse called Kalki. The horse will come to life and gallop and trample down all bad men. You underline this or you mark this paragraph. Sometimes the question asks that what did Muni explain about the statue? So what was Muni's thing? That this horse statue is like a guardian. Guardian means who? Like in place of parents we have guardian, no, who take care of us. So it was said one day in Kali Yuga the world will come to an end and the devil will come, everything will be destroyed. that time this horse will have the life in it and it will start galloping, it will start jumping, it will come to redeem us. Redeemer means the person who do goodness, who means who brings goodness, and this horse will be in life and it will do goodness for us. So that was the condition, or that was the story what Muni told to the American. While he was brooding on this pleasant vision, the foreigner utilized the pause to say, I assure you this will have the best home in the USA. He said, don't worry, in USA I will keep this statue at the best place. I will push away the bookcase, you know I love books, and I am a member of 5 book clubs, and the choice and bonus volumes mount up to a pile really in our living room, as high as this horse itself, but they will have to go. He said, I love books very much, I have a shelf for books, I have a room for books, I will remove everything and I will keep this statue at the best place. Don't worry, as this statue is good here, you all love this, it's your famous statue, I will also keep it very properly in my place in America. Ruth may disapprove, but I will convince Muni, continued his description of the end of the world. He said, the American said, my wife Ruth may disapprove when I remove the books, but I will do it. Now Muni again started telling what will happen. Our Pandit discoursed means discussion, at the temple once how the oceans are going to close over the earth in a huge wave and swallow us. This horse will grow bigger than the biggest wave, carry on its back only the good people and kick into the flood the evil ones. He said, our Pandit used to say, when the world will come to an end, the oceans, the high waves will come. It will destroy us, and this horse will grow bigger and bigger in size. It will be biggest size, and what it will do? It will carry on its back the good people. Good people it will carry, and the bad people he will throw it in the ocean. Means good people will be saved and bad people will be kicked in the ocean. Plenty of them about, he said reflectively. Do you know when it is going to happen? He asked. He asked him, do you know when this will happen? The foreigner now understood by the tone of the other that a question was being asked and said, I am not a millionaire, but the modest businessman, my trade is coffee. American thought he is asking about the money, that how much you will give. He asked the question that do you know when the world will come to an end? And American thought asking about the money, he said, see, I am not a millionaire. I am nothing, I am only a small businessman and I run what? Coffee business. Amidst all this wilderness of obscure sound, obscure means difficult to understand, sound, Muni caught the word coffee. Now he got this word coffee. Coffee everyone know. So he heard this word coffee and said, if you want to drink coffee, drive further up in the next town. They have Friday market and there they open kapi hotels. So I learned from the passerby. In South Indian word coffee you call kapi. Kapi we say. So he said if you want to drink kapi, in the next Friday market there is a kapi hotel and so many passers-by drink, you can also go and have it. The foreigner said, I repeat, I am not a millionaire. Foreigner was telling him, see, I am not a millionaire. I am not so rich person. Ours is a modest business. After all, we can't afford to buy more than 60 minutes of TV, time in a month which works out to 2 minutes a day. That's all. Although in the course of time, we will maybe sponsor a 1-hour show regularly if our sales graph continues to go up. He said, I am not a millionaire. I cannot make the graph to go up. Very small amount we get and with that we manage. Then the visitor, feeling that he had spent too much time already, said, tell me, will you accept 100 rupees or not for the horse? That time 100 rupees was too much. So he offered 100 rupees. Is it enough or you want more? I would love to take the whiskered soldier also, but no space for him this year. He said, I want to take that warrior also. Statue of a soldier, no? He said, I want to take him also, but this time in my vehicle, I don't have the place to keep the statue of the warrior, so I will only take the horse. Next year I will come. But I will have to cancel my air ticket and take a boat home, I suppose. Ruth can go by air if she likes, but I will go with the horse, keep him in my cabin all the way if necessary. And he smiled at the picture of himself voyaging across the seas, hugging this horse. He added, I will have to pad it with straw so that it doesn't break. What he said, the American decided everything. He was going to give the money. He said, I'll take this horse. Means my ticket is by air, by plane, but I will cancel it because I cannot take the statue of horse in the plane. I will go by boat. If my wife wishes, she can go by plane, but I will go by boat. I will carry this horse, I will hug this horse, and I will keep the padded thing that this horse should not break. So I will keep it very safely and I will take. He started dreaming also how he is going to take this horse. I have my station wagon, as you see. I can push the seat back, take the horse in if you will just lend me a hand with it. He said, if you help me, I will carry this horse and keep in my vehicle. Lend me a hand and I can lift off the horse from its pedestal after picking out the cement at the joint. We can do anything if we have a basis of understanding. America said, if you help me, I will take out this horse statue from the pedestal, and you give me the help, I will keep it in my wagon. And even though we are not understanding language, but we can understand each other like this. So it is okay. At this stage, the mutual mystification means confusion, was complete, and there was no need even to carry on a guessing game at the meaning of the words. The old man chattered away in a spirit of balancing of the credits and debits of conversational exchange, said in order to be on the credit side, "O honorable one, I hope God has blessed you with numerous progeny." Progeny means children. I say this because you seem to be a good man, willing to stay beside an old man and talk to him while all day. I have none to talk except when somebody stops by to ask for a piece of tobacco. He said, you are a good man. Whole day you spend in talking with me, and no one even stopped here. And you offered me cigarette, you spoke to me, you are a very good man. May God bless you with children. But I seldom have it. Tobacco is not what it used to be at one time, and I have given up chewing. I cannot afford it nowadays. He said, I love to eat tobacco, to chew it, but now I cannot afford, so I am not taking. Noting the other's interest in his speech, Muni felt encouraged to ask, how many children have you? With appropriate gesture with his hand, realizing that the question was being asked, the red man replied, I said 100. The American thought he is asking about the money, but Muni was asking about children. And what was the reply of the American? 100 children. With encouraged Muni to go into details, how many of your children are boys and how many girls? Where are they? Is your daughter married? Is it difficult to find a son-in-law in your country? So many kind of old people, what all question. Daughter married, is it easy to find a son-in-laws? What all kind of question he started asking. In answer to these questions, the red man dashed his hand into his pocket, brought forth his wallet in order to take immediate advantage of the bearish trend in the market. He thought, let me give the money. He may be asking for the money. He flourished a 100 rupee currency note and said, well, this is what I meant. He said, take this 100 rupees. I want to give you this. The old man now realized that some financial element was entering their talk. The old man understood while talking something of money was being talked. He peered closely at the currency note, the like of which he had never seen in his life. He knew the 5 and 10 by their colors, although always in other people's hand, while his own earning at any time was in coppers and nickel. Never seen money that much, he used to earn very less. So he was shocked to see 100 rupees. What was this man flourishing the note for? Perhaps asking for change? He laughed to himself at the notion of anyone coming to him for changing 1,000 or 10,000 rupee note. Now Muni thought this foreigner has come to ask for the change. He said, now how I am going to give the change for 100 rupees? He said with a grin, with a smile, ask our village head man, who is also a money lender. He can change even 1 lakh of rupees in gold sovereigns. If you prefer it that way, He thinks nobody knows, but dig the floor of his puja room and your head will reel at the sight of the hoard. Now he said, you can ask the money lender here, he is a rich man, he has plenty of gold. You take this money, you give to him, he will in return give you gold and everything. He had a great place for it. The man disguises himself in rags just to mislead the public. Talk to the headman yourself because he goes mad at the sight of me. Now again Muni started telling about the headman there. He said, he looks very ugly, he looks like poor, but actually he is not poor man. You can go directly and talk to him. Someone took away his pumpkins with the creeper. Creeper means with the full plant, someone took away his pumpkin. For some reason thinks it was me and my goats. That's why I never let my goats be seen anywhere near the farms. His eyes travel to his goats nosing about, attempting to wrest nutrition from minute greenery peeping out of rock and dry earth. He said, once someone has taken the pumpkin from his field, he thought that was done by my goats. So he was always behind me and my goats. And my poor goats, they are not getting proper things also to eat. So better for you, take this money, go to the headman and he will give you the change. The foreigner followed his look and decided that it would be a sound policy to show an interest in the oarsman's pets. He went up casually to them and stroked their backs with every show of courteous attention. American saw the goats, so he thought that Muni is talking about the goats, something he understood. So he thought that Muni want to show some love towards the goats. American went to the goats and started patting them, caring them. Now the truth dawned on the old man. Now what Muni understood? His dream of a lifetime was about to be realized. He understood that the red man was actually making an offer for the goats. He thought the red man want to purchase his goats and that he is giving the money. He had reared them up in the hope of selling them someday and with the capital opening a small shop on this very spot. Sitting here watching towards the hills, he had often dreamt how he would put up a thatch roofed here, spread a gunny sack out on the ground, display on it fried nuts, colored sweets and green coconut for thirsty and famished wayfarers on the highway. He started dreaming that if I get this much money, I can open a shop like that. I can run, I can sell nuts, I can sell coconut, sweets, everything. Which was sometime very busy. The animals were not prized once for a cattle show, but he had spent his occasional savings to provide them some fancy diet, now and then. And they did not look too bad. While he was reflecting that, the red man shook his hand, left on his palm 100 rupees in tens now. Suddenly realizing that this was what the old man was asking. It's all for you and you must share it if you have a partner. He gave the change of 100 rupees in tens. Okay, and he offered to Muni and said, if you have a partner, you can share with that. And he gave the money. The old man pointed at the station wagon and asked, are you carrying them off in that? He thought this American is taking my goats in the vehicle. Said, you are taking them in the wagon? Yes, of course, said the other, understanding the transportation part. American understood, he is talking about my vehicle. He said, yes, I will take them. The old man said, this will be their first ride in a motor car. He said, my goats first time they are going to ride in the motor car. Never they went in the motor car. Carry them off after I get out of sight. Otherwise they will never follow you. He said, when I will go away, then take them. Otherwise they will not come to you. But only me when I am travelling on the path to Yamalo. He laughed at his own joke, brought his palms together in a salute, turned round and went off. Was soon out of sight beyond a clump of thicket. He thought he is taking the goats and he said, don't take them in front of me, otherwise they will not go and I will feel very sad. And he took the money and he went back. American wanted him to wait to help him to carry that statue of horse. The old man did not understand anything. He took the money. He thought my goats are going in the motor car. He went away. The red man looked at the goats grazing peacefully. Perched on the pedestal of the perch means he sat on the pedestal of the horse as the westerly sun touched off the ancient faded colors of the statue with a fresh splendor. He ruminated. He ruminated means he thought deeply. He must be gone to fetch some help, I suppose. Settle down to wait. What the American thought? The old man has gone to bring someone for help. He has given the money, so he might have gone to render some help. When a truck came downhill, he stopped it and got the help of a couple of men to detach the horse from its pedestal, place it in a station wagon. He gave them 5 rupees each, and for a further payment they siphoned off gas. They moved the truck to another from the truck and helped him to start his engine. What happened? American waited. Finally he saw one truck coming. He took the help of those people, took out that horse, put that in the wagon and gave 5 rupees to the truckman. Muni hurried homeward with the cash securely tucked away at his waist in his dhoti. He shut the street door and stole up softly to his wife as she squatted before the lit oven, wondering if by a miracle food would drop from the sky. He went to his wife. Wife was sitting there, no food. Muni displayed his fortune for the day. She snatched the notes from him. She took the money from Muni, counted them by the glow of the fire and cried, 100 rupees. How did you come by it? Have you been stealing? She said, have you done stealing? How you got this 100 rupees? I have sold our goats to a red-faced man. He said, I sold out my goats to an American. He was absolutely crazy to have them. He said he was so mad to get my goats. Gave me all this money and carried them off in his motor car. He said he gave the money and took my goats in the motor car. Hardly had these words left his lips when they heard bleating outside. As they were talking, they heard the sound outside. Sound of some animal. She opened the door and saw the 2 goats at her door. Here they are, she said. What's the meaning of all this? He said, goats? See, they are here. Where you have sold the goats? They are here at our doorstep. He muttered a great curse and seized one of the goats by its ear. He took the ear and shouted, where is that man? Don't you know you are his? He told the goats, you are not mine, you are of that American. Go. Why did you come back? The goat only wriggled. The goat was only making sound in his grip. He asked the same question to the other goat. The goat shook itself off. Now what the goats will understand? They were just shaking off. His wife glared at him and declared, wife got so annoyed. She just looked at this man and said, if you have thief, the police will come tonight and break your bones. She said, if you have stolen this money, the police will come and they will break your old bones. Don't involve me. She said, don't indulge me in that. I have not done anything. I will go away to my parents. She said, I am going to my parents. You have done the stealing. Now police will come, catch you and they will break your bones. Because she understood goats means there only. So from where he got the money, definitely he might have stolen for food or something. So she said, now I am going to my parents' house. You manage whatever you are going to do it. And this way the story of this misunderstanding, this all thing came to an end. So finally the American thought it is Muni's statue, gave the money, took the horse, and Muni was again left with the 2 goats. And nothing else he got in return, was only the 100 rupees, and that also was making him to terrify that now what answer he is going to give for this 100 rupees note. Is it clear? Story is clear?